Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming stuff. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Matthew Ross.
Hello, Clyde.
Michael Aston.
Hello, everybody.
And Jimmy Trammell.
Hello, Clyde, and everyone.
Why is everybody like on their best behavior tonight? Did something happen?
No.
I was just following Matt's lead. That's all.
Well, that's usually a good idea.
No, it's not. It's a horrible idea. Why would you ever do that? No. Just don't do that. Don't follow me. No.
It is rather unsettling.
Yes, I would agree with that.
That's reason enough to follow Matt's lead.
No. Generally, my lead is the boring lead. Usually, the case that I'm just the boring person that doesn't do anything interesting. Clyde said hello, Matt, so I said hello back. That's all. Obviously, I want to say hello to everybody else. Obviously, but he's the one who actually.
Obviously.
Oh. It makes sense that Jimmy, that you also said hello to everybody else. Totally understand. I just was implying it. Sorry.
Alrighty. How you guys doing this week?
Running late, but that's okay.
That's okay. We just got started, and there is W Scottish One rolling in, Mr. Will.
Also running late. Oh, excellent. Okay, we're good. No, it's been crazy week. I had a little entertainment for my school day today. A little bit of fun. It's public knowledge, so nobody really needs to know. It's not like I'm telling a secret, but somebody threatened our school today.
What kind of threat?
A student was shooting off his mouth about shooting off the school tomorrow.
That's when you walk up to that kid and you punch him right in the nose.
No, you don't do that. You call the cops. The cops are called. There's no shoot. There's nothing going to happen. It's just going to be.
Hey, we're getting a raid by Cruz.
What?
Cruz.
Hey, Cruz, and all the people watching. Nice to see you. No, it's that's what happened, and it's all been taken care of. No worries from anybody, but it's made my day interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I could bet.
Also, I'm sick, but that's besides the point.
Man, we always knew that.
Yeah. Well,
I was about to say, isn't that every week?
I officially have strep throat.
Oh.
But
So your throat has daddy issues?
Apparently, I don't know. I caught it early enough, and we're taking the meds early enough that I actually don't have any symptoms, and I barely got any symptoms at first. But it's official, and so a lot of people have been avoiding me. I don't think you can get infected over the internet. I don't think. So
those internet viruses are the scariest.
They're so horrible. They spread so fast.
That's okay. I use a Mac, so I'm not worried.
Oh, I'm gonna let that one go.
Okay. And on that note, should we see what there is to talk about this week?
Oh, sure. We have a little bit of news this week, and by a little bit, I actually mean not very much. We have a story here from a company called Lendido. I've never heard of them before, but anyways, they conducted a study of cord cutters, and to find out exactly how much money they've saved. It looks like they went ahead and made a study and found out that on average, the cord cutters saved $115.34 per month, which is a lot of money compared to what I was thinking people would be saving. It's and that is the wrong article.
That is the wrong article.
But
Where did it go?
so it's a huge amount of money that you're saving every year on this from this. So it's kind of an interesting report. I'd be curious if you guys had any thoughts on this. I mean, it's obviously you can see the questionnaires that they ask, like questions like, "As of today, do you currently purchase streaming services like Netflix, Hulu? Before you cut cable, how much did you spend per month on online streaming services, things like that?" So it seems like a pretty detailed questionnaire.
I'll put that in the chat if anybody wants to go through it.
Yeah, I mean that seems like a big number, though, doesn't it? You know,
It sounds like an awful lot. I mean, I unfortunately am not saving any money because I don't cut the cord really, but. So what is the right? I mean, if I were to cut the cord officially, I would probably break even if I didn't cut the cord. So for me, it doesn't make sense for me really to cut the cord that much. So
and Mike, I think your mic is on mute there.
But there must be a large percentage of people here that are literally cutting the cord and not bringing back anything that's a cable style solution to replace it.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things that they mentioned there is that that 115 accounts for $116 of their cable bill. So what are you paying right now for your cable, Matt?
About $100 and change.
Okay, so if you are currently paying $100 for cable and you already have the streaming services, because one of the things that they took into account here is that most people were paying, the average rate was $116 for their cable, and they were averaging about $30 a month for about $33 a month for their streaming services that they already had before they cut the cord. Then they cut the cord, and their monthly streaming rate only went up by a few dollars a month on average. So what it went from most people spending 30 to most people spending about 35, and yet they cut their $116 of cable. So it's and my numbers are just rounded, so that's why it comes to 115. And so it doesn't sound like most of them replaced it with a streaming TV service like PlayStation Vue or Sling TV. But they did go ahead and just continue using the services, Netflix or whatever, and maybe a few people added something extra, like maybe they added an HBO subscription to their offline, to their streaming services instead of what they were doing on their cable service. And I think that makes a lot of sense. That's pretty much what I would expect. Some people like myself might go ahead and pay the $40 a month for PlayStation Vue or whatever, but I'm actually probably going to cancel that here in the near future because they're upping the price yet again. And now they're starting to push that price to the point where it just doesn't make sense for me to cut it. But still, before I cut, I was paying probably about $75 a month for cable TV. And I already had Netflix and Hulu. And so what I ended up doing was I cut cable TV, I cut Hulu, because I wasn't using it enough to justify it, and I added PlayStation Vue. So my net change is a savings of roughly about $40 a month, maybe a little bit more. And I had a very low package for cable. I didn't have any extra things. I just had the lowest HD service with one DVR.
Yeah, so for me, it would be very different because I've spent a little over $100 a month for my television and internet. And if I were to cut it down just to my internet, it would be like $70 a month. So I'd be saving $40, sure, but then I'd need to put something back on because we do watch a lot of television. So I wouldn't be saving that much money in that case. And I can now capture all this stuff onto my Plex machine with a cable box receiver from Silicon Dust. So do I want to? Probably not. I don't know. So
yeah. So you said you would save like $40 a month. Why is that? Is that because when you said the 100-ish, did that include your internet or?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so that's your cable and internet. So you're really only paying about $50 a month for cable.
Right.
Okay, so you're on the very conservative side of cable spending. And that's the thing, honestly, that's the thing that surprises me the most. Every time I hear this number is that people average $100 a month or more for cable. And that's just their cable, right? Like they're paying for 200 channels plus HBO. And I mean, that's just crazy that they would spend that much. But that is apparently the average expenditure. I mean, that's also, go ahead.
It would be good to know, and I don't know if they answered this, if their cable bill included their internet. So,
I know for me, and I cut the cord a little over a year ago, right? And before I cut the cord, I was paying about $140 a month. Now that included the television and internet. I'm going to just set aside all the streaming services that I also had, right? Because I kept those, right? I didn't cut those. So I went from about $140 a month, and then down to about $87 a month of just the internet service that I have now, which is fiber, right? And one of the big reasons for me to cutting the cord is because with the cable internet, they put data caps on there, right? So then I went from 140 down to about 187. So I'm saving money there. But then I added Hulu Live Television. That's costing me, I was already a Hulu subscriber and using that. And so adding that to it, it costs about maybe $35 more, right? So by the time you add that on there, I'm saving a little bit of money each month, but not anywhere near 100 and something, right?
Right, but you're saving $30 a month-ish, and you're getting better internet.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
you upgraded your internet significantly and are still saving $30 a month. So
yes,
you're definitely in a way better situation than when you were paying for cable, assuming that you don't put value on the things that you lost from cable to what you have now, which I don't, because I feel like what I have now is every bit as good as cable, if not better, with the PlayStation.
Yeah, one thing that I thought I would miss, and surprisingly, I have not really missed all that much, is watching Sunday football, professional football. And, you know, I find it now good enough. If you download the NFL app, you can watch the highlights for free, right? And I'll just watch the highlights of the teams I like to watch. And
NFL is hating you right now.
And that's
the worst thing ever.
That seems to be good enough.
Yeah. And MBeam in the chat asked, how much more can you cut by rolling your own DVR service and only receiving OTA HD TV from your local stations? And that would really depend on the user, where you live, and what stations you get. Because most people that are using the cable replacement services like View or Sling TV, they're doing that not for local, but for the cable stations you wouldn't be able to get over the air. So I think in that scenario, it's not how much you can cut, it's how much extra you can add for relatively nothing.
Right.
So I think it's just a different way of looking at it.
I mean, I think, you know, in my opinion, and certainly in my case, I'm not really saving a significant amount of money, really. But, you know, for me, streaming or watching it on demand is the preferred way to watch it, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to live by, you know, the network schedule, right? I want to live by my schedule, right? And so, and you know, the quality is good. You know, I mean, I don't have a 4K television, right? So HD is about as good as it gets on streaming, as far as I can tell. I don't know. If I had a 4K TV, I might could tell you different. But yeah, I mean, you know, for me, it's just, you know, the preferred way to watch television. And okay, maybe I get it for a slightly better price, and I do have, you know, better internet as a result, like Mike pointed out. But you know, for me, I think it's just a better service, right? I don't know if I'm saving a whole lot of money, but it's definitely a better service to me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the thing for me, is that while I'm saving money and I like the savings, I feel like I have a better solution now than I did before. I'm actually happier with my TV viewing experiences. Probably my all-time favorite TV viewing experience was when I was doing when Netflix first came out with their streaming service, I did Netflix, and I had a Windows XP box that had Media Center on it, and I had like 2 over-the-air tuners in my computer, and so I just ran that myself, and so I didn't have cable. I just had over-the-air. I had all my channels, DVR'd all my shows into like a 4 terabyte of hard drive space, and I mean, that was great. I had Netflix for old stuff, DVR'd all the new stuff on my computer, and could stream that to all the computers in my house. That was awesome. And then Windows got rid of Media Center, and that was a sad day.
Yeah.
And I will add to what I was saying earlier about rolling your own DVR. I didn't think about the fact that Hulu. You could, in theory, probably cut Hulu. If you're not into Hulu for the original content, and you're primarily just there to watch your local programming, if you're like MBeam and you get all of the majors, yeah, you probably, that's what for commercial free it's $12.99, so $13. You potentially save another $13 a month. But Hulu is the whole reason I stopped using my over-the-air antenna and my TiVo, is because I realized I wasn't going to check my TiVo for months at a time because all the stuff I wanted to watch was showing up on Hulu. So, where I could watch it commercial free and not have to fast forward. So, yeah, I mean, if that option works for you, it's awesome. It worked great. The only downside with antennas, though, is that they're finicky and signal is not always the best, and you don't know until after the fact when you go to watch it that, oh, the show got preempted, or, oh, there must have been someone standing in front of my house because now there's like horrible pixelation. It's not with the HD, the digital over the air is not as forgiving as the old analog was, or it might get ghosty and a little staticky here and there, but you could still watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, the brains can handle analog interference.
Yep. But that's the beauty. You know, whatever works for you for your option is the right way to go.
Yeah, that's a good point. That the switch from analog to digital actually greatly impacted the quality of antenna and over-the-air viewing. At least for me, here I have channels that half the time I don't get. Unless I could probably get them all pretty well if I had multiple antennas, but with just the one antenna, it's basically that I have to choose which channels I want to be able to see.
Exactly, and that was the whole reason we've discussed before. The whole reason I stopped watching CBS was because I couldn't reliably get that station. Although I could reliably get the commercials. They made sure that the commercials came through shiny and bright. All the drops were ironic, or go put on your tinfoil hats, but all the drops and the signal quality issues always happened at the important punchline.
Well, I would, if you didn't say that, I would say that just statistically speaking, the odds are that any interference and any issues would happen to be during the show, because the commercials are a smaller percentage of the time that you're watching, right? But yeah.
Yeah, question number 1 in this article was great, though, wasn't it? The answers.
Number one. The questions of the number 1 was, which of the following best describes the way you cut the TV cable cord? A. 58.6% of cord cutters answered, my TV cable subscription was too expensive. B. 11.8% of cord cutters answered, my TV cable subscription didn't provide the content I wanted. C. 21.2% of cord cutters answered, I used my TV cable subscription less because of online streaming services. D. 4% of the cable cutters answered, I resent the cable companies for their greed and wanted to take a stand. And E. 4.4% of cord cutters answered, other.
And to those people that wanted to take a stand, wow, you really stuck it to them.
Yeah, there you go.
So I could have answered both C and D on that, right?
I did want to mention one other thing from this article that I thought was somewhat interesting, and that was the outlook part of this article. They did ask, one of the questions that they asked was, do you see yourself using cable in 1, 3, and 5 years? And not surprisingly, that number went down every one of those increments. A third of people said that they would be off of cable within the next year. Half of people said that they expected that they wouldn't be doing cable in 3 years. And then, from there it went up only a little bit. If you expected to be on it in 3 years, you figured probably going to be on it in 5 years. Though it got another 6%. So 56% said they wouldn't be using cable within 5 years. Probably not a good time to be a cable company. It's, not that this is news to anybody, but it seems like more and more people are realizing that the current cable solution is just not the future, and the cable companies are going to have to make real changes if they want to keep subscribers.
Yep. The internet will be the thing that finally breaks cable, and we'll see if that finally happens. All right, let's move on to our next story. There's a big show coming up this weekend that's apparently a lot of people watch, something called The Superb Owl.
It's Superb Owl Lie, right? There's a lie in there.
Oh yeah, Superb Owl Lee? Is it Lee?
No, I think it's Lie.
It's Lee.
Two eyes is Lie, right?
Maybe, I don't know. I thought it would. It's the name of the owl, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
I thought Lee. Maybe he's Asian. I don't know.
Do they have owls in Asia?
I have no idea.
Somebody write in. Let us know. Do they have owls in Asia?
And I will report it. I promise.
And we'll report on that next show.
Yep, the Asian owl.
Anyways, NBC is streaming The Big Game. And we're only not saying the name of it because of copyright things, and I don't know why we're worried about it at all. But we are. It is so stupid.
Super Bowl.
It's okay. The Super Bowl will be streaming, and you will be able to watch it using NBCSports.com and the NBC Sports app. Not requiring. It doesn't look like it's going to require even you to get any kind of authentication. The game's just going to be streaming for free.
Right there on the screen, you can see all the different platforms that it's available. And I just wanted to add, so is this in addition to CBS? Because as far as I knew, CBS still had the streaming, or was still showing it.
I actually don't know who's showing the Super Bowl.
Because this was NBC.
Yep.
It says
maybe
NBC
has the online rights. Maybe they have the NBC rights, and maybe they'll have different commercials.
Well, because I swear I saw something that said that you can still stream, or it was how to stream it from CBS, but I didn't think the Super Bowl's broadcasted on multiple networks, so that's why I'm confused. Because in the past, we've always just said go to CBS.com.
This year, it's going to be NBC's. NBC has it this year. Don't know why if it's different than years before, but that's what they got.
Yeah, it does. It fluctuates between the networks, right? It's never the same one all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good question if they will include the commercials, and if they don't, I don't know. It'd be worth it. Although we've already seen one of the commercials, and I wasn't impressed. So.
And
yeah, the one time in a year that you want to see commercials, right? And then they don't show the right ones, right?
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Did you guys see the picture, or did you see where the Superb Owl came from?
Where did Superb Owl come from?
I'll show you here. Give it a second.
Sure. Was this an internet meme?
No, I think somebody screwed up. Is what it was. They put the B on the wrong car. And if I'm not wrong, though, that's the tram in Vegas, is it not?
I don't know, but I know that Superb Owl has been the joke for years and years and years. So
that could be Dallas Airport too, couldn't it?
No, I think somebody photoshopped that. Because those look like the trains that we rode in Vegas, but they were all and it's not uncommon that they sport branding, because they all had said "Hola Google" when they when we were there, but yeah, I don't know. You guys gonna watch the game? I mean, is this important to you guys?
It's the biggest thing of the year, and there's more likely people will have it on than anything else. It will be a big deal. We'll hear stories about it if some big company was somehow drops the signal for whatever reason. It will be a big story if something doesn't go right.
And I don't know why this is such a big story every year, and every year it ends up being super simple and very few people have a problem, and it's just like, and then every year it's like, oh my god.
What will be interesting to me is how many people stream it this year versus last year. That's so how much growth do you get there? That's what would be interesting to me. I mean, and I want to watch it this year streaming, just to see how good it is. What kind of experience do you get?
Well, I worked for a company that was in Grant County that was trying to provide television over internet. And hey, you know what happened when when the big game was on? The switches provided more of that stream over a multicast. So the switches didn't really have to do much more work. Just added more ports to the multicast, which is really simple for a switch if you know what the switch is doing there. Guess what? There's nothing I can do if something goes wrong there. You just gotta have to. But that being said, because it was the big game, my boss said, "Hey, could you sit by the phone just in case somebody wants to call? Pay you for it. It's fine. You can sit there and watch the game. Just watch the game from here and sit by the phone. Somebody calls, you can say, we're right on it."
The only reason I even know that the Super Bowl is happening this year is because they're already making my life hell. But yeah. Now, you guys actually care? Anybody out there care? Anybody excited to watch the Superb Owl?
Well, it's the Eagles and the Patriots, right?
Yep. Sure.
Maybe. Yeah, I think everybody's angry about the Eagles here throwing beer cans at the Minnesota fans. So,
well,
yeah,
everybody's always angry at the Patriots. So whatever, I don't care. Obviously, if any of our local teams were going there, of course we'd be excited. So that's pretty typical. People around you would be super excited. So for you Patriots fans and you Eagle fans, I hope the game is fun and I hope it's fair. And other than that, I don't care.
That's the Pawtucket Patriots, right?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I just want them to hurry up and get it done and get out of here. So I can go back to normal.
And then Beam, I too am watching just for the wardrobe malfunctions as well.
Yeah, but it's been what, like 14 years since the last one?
Every year there are suggestions. There are things going on that like, and then everybody's like all worried about something happening. What was it? The next year they got Prince up there, or the artist formerly known as Prince, and he had a silhouette of him playing the guitar that looked a little phallic. There was all kinds of, every year they're worried about something happening.
Yeah, was it last year that lady showed up dressed like a Black Panther covered in bullets and nobody cared? But then yeah, but
maybe that'll be my Halloween costume, huh?
No, it was
I thought it was Lady Gaga last year.
No, I don't think it was. It may have been the year before. I don't know. I definitely wasn't Lady Gaga. It was one of the other ladies. But yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, I've just saw the W. Scott says Justin Timberlake is doing the halftime show. So since he was there for the first wardrobe malfunction, we might see another. Who knows?
Maybe this time he'll rip off his own something.
His own brassiere.
Yes.
I would probably pay to see that.
Okay, you've got it now. It's officially on record. Matt would pay to see Justin Timberlake rip off his own bra. I'm pretty sure there's someplace you could pay to actually see that or something similar.
This will probably be our
pay that
most
much.
viewed show ever, just to see that bit.
I wouldn't pay that much, just so you know.
Okay.
Uh,
But I'm with you, Matt. I'd pay to see that too.
oh, thank you. I appreciate the backing. So, we have an interesting story that happened in this last week. If you're into YouTube TV, there was a guess what? We got YouTube TV on Roku. It was amazing. It was kind of, you know, it was working okay. It had a couple bugs in it. You could stream from your device directly to the Roku device screen. You had a couple of the features that were working, and a couple of them weren't working so well. It was kind of a quiet launch, and it was so wonderful that we're actually
I'm
getting
sensing a
right now,
butt.
okay?
I'm
Can I go
sensing.
try it right now, Matt?
No,
No.
that's because Google pulled it.
What?
They went ahead and turned around and said, no, we're going to go ahead and pull support for that because we weren't ready to release that. My understanding is that this was a mistake on their part. They didn't mean to release their beta player just yet. But we have some links if you want to see how it looks on the Roku players with a couple bugs on it. They're available from, I think they're mostly from cordcuttersnews.com. So.
Good thing they're not a Hawaiian emergency alert system.
Yeah, that would be horrible if somehow they messed up that. So actually, it's looking rather good. It's looking a lot better than I was worried that it would look. You know, the simplified, how Roku interfaces tend to look a little simplified and look a little just almost dumb. It's like a web page dumb versus being a nice fluid interface. It looks better than that. So I'm excited about the fact that it looks like they're really polishing the interface for the Roku, and I'm excited to find out when it becomes available, because it becomes suddenly a competitor that it really never has been until then. So, and I can use it more than just on my phone or my computer or my NVIDIA Shield, which I actually do use it on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just still waiting.
I'd be seriously tempted to switch over to YouTube TV instead of PlayStation View if they had support for something other than the Chromecast, right?
But I'm surprised your LG TV doesn't have the app built into it as an option.
It has YouTube, but not YouTube TV.
Because it was being added to a lot of smart TVs as well. A lot of smart TVs. I think specifically the ones
was
that
the
have
last time
running
you checked?
Android, so probably not.
I was going to say, I haven't checked in probably a month. I checked sometime in early mid-December, so it could be that it's been added, but I don't think...
We would have heard. They haven't made any adding announcements since then. That's why I was wondering how long ago it was you checked, because I don't know. I want to try it. We want to try it. But
Absolutely.
Waiting for it to happen.
before it was like, yeah, cities. But now it's in our cities. I think it's in all of our cities now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Google.
Hey, Clyde, try it for the 14-day free trial and see if you like it on your Chromecast.
I don't have a Chromecast.
But you have a Mi Box that acts as a Chromecast.
Nah.
Okay. Or if you pay for a month, they'll send you a Chromecast.
I don't want a Chromecast.
Oh.
I never did like the Chromecast.
All right. I'm just
Because
saying.
it requires me to use my phone, and I don't want to touch my phone. I want a remote.
I know. I understand. Okay. Just saying, if you want, you can try it now. Okay.
All right.
That's it. We have a story about VRV, which I've never heard of before. Verve. They look like they are a bunch of various independent content creators working together, and they are now launching their own little channel on Fire TV and Android TV. This looks like a lot of you'll be able to watch it on the web, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Chromecast, iOS, Android phones, Android TVs, Amazon Fire, and newer Roku devices. Which so it looks like a new little channel with a bunch of interesting content in there.
Yeah, Verb's been around for about a year or so. I remember we talked about it a little bit before. They were kind of a YouTube / Twitch kind of competitor. And yeah, they just recently got a whole bunch of backing from investors to kind of blow it up. And yeah, I saw this and thought, hey, people should check it out.
It looks like a lot of the content they have on there is also on YouTube. So
yeah,
maybe they have exclusives for a while. Maybe they, I don't know.
Maybe they will have exclusives now that they're getting some investor money.
Right.
But the big thing was it's now available on more. It's been available on Roku.
Right.
But
now it's available on more stuff.
Yeah, it's available on more stuff, which is always good. I am always in favor of more stuff.
More stuff in more places, more competition is good. We will agree with that completely.
New slogan: more. The three mores.
What are their prices? What's their pricing structure like?
I do believe it's free.
Because when I go to their website, it didn't say anything in this article, of course, and their website says try free.
Oh,
but it makes that, which makes me think maybe there's a long-term cost, or maybe it's free, but they're not promising it to always be free or something. Just curious. Yeah, see, it says it's a 30-day. Oh, there we go. 30-day free trial, ad-free for $10 a month. So,
all right.
Gotta offer something compelling for that, but maybe there's some stuff there.
It says Verve, home of your favorite channels, but I don't know what channels are there.
They have to have some type of discovery platform for this somewhere, I think.
Oh, you know what? I was confusing this with a different... Oh, okay. They've got, like, Crunchyroll and... So this would be more of a, like...
They're an aggregator, I believe, is what they are.
Yeah. I'd say this would be closer to, like, Philo.
Pluto TV, kind of like that, I think, yeah.
But
it looks like they've got a lot of good animated stuff. Quite a bit of good anime and things like that. So,
yeah, because I'm looking through and seeing, yeah. So this isn't the platform I was thinking of, but yes, it looks interesting. I might actually have to check this out.
All right. And then we have one more story, which is actually a big, long story.
Well, it's not really a story. It was last week when we were after the show. Wabbit asked, if we had really thought about talking about antennas. Because that's one of those things that everybody talks about. Oh, get an antenna, but nobody ever actually really talks about antennas. And so I figured, it was a short news week, so we may as well. We got a little bit of time. We can throw that in there.
Absolutely.
But I will go ahead. I mean, there was a great article that I stumbled across this week, which reminded me, we should probably talk about this. I'll put it in the chat. But, I mean... how many of you guys are actually using it? Matt, you're not using an antenna because you have cable.
I tried antennas. Remember, there was that super sale on the one thing I purchased really for the Black Friday or Cyber Monday was the super cheap, like $6 HD antennas that were available on Monoprice. And I did hook them up to my TV. And I did stick them through my window. It's high on the 3rd floor of my apartment. And was able to get like 6 channels. And most of them were not in English. So I was like, but here's the thing. It was an experiment. And where I live in Olympia, I'm 50 miles away from most of the good stations. And that's basically that was a 50 mile antenna. So I really needed to be right in the right, pointing in the right direction with the right line of sight for me to get that. And some of them are north of me, some of them are south of me. So
yeah, and see, that is the number one thing that really comes down when anybody's asking or talking about antennas, because it's not a one size fits all thing. It's the biggest thing is, where are you located?
Mm-hmm.
Where is the signal coming from? What's between you and them? Is there a mountain? Is there people? Another building? How many walls are between the antenna and where you're going to be? AntennaWeb.org is a great service to help you, number one, figure out, kind of set your expectations. And then it will also kind of give you an idea of what kind of antenna you should have based on what you're trying to get. And, the two that most people wrestle with is, do I want an internal antenna, or do I want an external antenna, like a big one that you put on the roof?
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, it depends. Because, I usually recommend to people, look at AntennaWeb, see what's available, and get the cheapest antenna that you can, internal, to see if you can even pick anything up. And if you can't, then you might have to look into getting one of the big outside ones. But you may go to AntennaWeb and find out that there are no stations available for you anyway. But
yeah, so for me, it just basically said, yeah, you'll be able to pick the local, governmental station from downtown Olympia, because that's it's right there. That'll be no problem. And there's a couple smaller stations you get, maybe Tacoma, that's not so bad, and maybe the one that's south of us in Centralia, it's not so bad. And then after that, you've got Portland and Seattle, which are about equidistant for me, and that's right at the 55-60 mile range, and there's all kinds of stuff in between. So the kind of nice is that if it's close enough to the water, from my point of view, from where I live,
mm-hmm.
it actually goes over a lot of the sound, which is a pretty clear shot. But but my house is not on the sound. I've got a lot of trees in the way, and a lot of, it's a hill in the way, and too. So
there's an easy fix for that.
Move somewhere.
No, you just cut down all the trees. We got too many trees.
No,
cut them down.
I like the trees. I like it. I want to live among the trees. Do.
Yeah.
Well, then you don't get to have TV anymore.
No, I gotta have cable. I gotta have Comcast come in here and provide me with $150 to $15 cable.
Yeah, and MBeam points out that, typically you want to avoid any antenna that has an amplifier. Unless you absolutely have to use it. So, because if you're not, amplifiers, they amplify, they don't discriminate. So if you're getting a bad signal or a noisy signal, guess what? All that extra crap, that gets amplified too. So, typically you want to start out with I say the smallest possible antenna for your scenario, but make sure that it's not amplified. If you get most of everything you need and it just needs a slight boost, then you might consider adding an amplifier to it. But yeah, I would not recommend typically going with amplified to begin with until you know what you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little bit different than Matt. I have every single channel you can imagine available to me in my area, including like 60 Spanish language channels, and that's maybe a slight exaggeration, but there's probably 4 different Spanish language channels, and each one of them has 4 different sub channels that have different airings. So I get I don't even know what they're called, but I get like NBC, but I get 4 versions of NBC and CBS and 3 versions of CBS. And, you know, one of them's showing old shows and then the current stuff. And then problem is that like Fox and ABC are coming from different directions. So my antenna has to be in a completely different place to watch those 2 channels than it does for the other like 30 channels. So I'm stuck with, well, like I can't physically have both sets of channels at the same
yes,
time.
you can, because you can connect using like a Y. You can connect 2 antennas to the same cable, which I think is what Tom Merritt does. So you you get 2 antennas, you put one facing one way and the other facing the other way, you know, and then you connect them with a Y to the same cable. Your device doesn't care where the signal's coming from. And in that does work. So it's kind of like the opposite of splitting, you know, a cable connection into 2 locations. And that, in that scenario, that would maybe your solution. If you
Walmart
don't like
has
moving
awesome links. Wow.
See, it's a good thing that we're not back in IRC. It would have been cut, and MB would have probably been booted. I had that happen to me a few times. Monster links.
That's good advice. I'll definitely think about considering trying that. I mean, ultimately, I'm not sure that there's enough value in getting over the air for me, just because then I still don't have a DVR solution unless I want to pick up some sort of DVR solution, and you know, there's always PlayStation View.
Yeah, I'd say the nice thing about the over-the-air is that there are typically channels that you can't get from the cable replacements, like your like Antenna TV and Me TV and a lot of these sub channels that have really cool stuff. There's like, I think there's the history, or the one that's all like detective shows, and then there's one that like shows Star Trek like on a loop every night, you know, if that's your thing.
BBC TV, right? BBC America.
BBC. Well, BBC in the BBC, or in Europe, has become the Star Trek channel.
So over here, half of the day is some Star Trek show.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's because BBC America is rebroadcasting what they're watching over there. That's why. Because they've got, but like I used to watch when I still had my antenna hooked up. I'd flip over and watch Me TV on Saturdays when I'm doing other stuff, because it was like basically all the Western shows all weekend. So I'd turn it on, and like Bonanza or Gunsmoke or, you know, Wagon Train, one of those great shows. Rawhide, watch young Clint Eastwood running around. And it was just, you know, I like that stuff for like background, and but I did not enjoy the commercials. Which is one reason I haven't gotten around to reattaching my antenna.
Well, that's probably the main reason why I don't have an antenna. But I will say the one that kind of makes me a little interested is Mohu makes one. I think there's some other manufacturers too that make them too now.
Yeah.
But they make these indoor antennas that will not only pick up the signal but transmit it over your Wi-Fi to your streaming device.
Yep.
Right.
Mohu announced one of those. Was it last year? Yeah.
Yes.
I think Channel Master's the other one that has one of those.
Yeah, I think there's one. I see one on here called Watch Air. Yeah, I'm looking on Amazon's where I'm looking.
And I can vouch for just the regular Mohu Leaf, the inexpensive, like $20 one. Unamplified works great, and you forget it's even there because it's flat. and it's white on one side, black on the other side, so you can choose which flavor you like. And it just, you know, I was up at my parents' house over the weekend, and I was sitting there, and then I looked up, and I was like, what? Oh, I forgot I had put a leaf up at their house, and I completely forgot it was there. And it's been there for, you know, since August. And I mean, that's usually where I recommend people to start, because they're good, and they follow the CEA rating system. If you're not familiar, on antennaweb.org, they have come up with a rating system where, you know, it's color code. So if you look and you see the list of channels, the beam or the line to your house from that antenna will be a different color, whether it's green, yellow, red. And that sets the expectation that you need to get an antenna that is capable of reaching the highest, you know, the hardest signal. And that kind of gets you in the ballpark. And, you know, but this is one of those cases where it doesn't always pay to cheap out. You know, you can get a good antenna affordably, but if you go really cheap, you might get something that works great. You might get something that doesn't work at all, and you're still end up spending more to get that next one up that you should have gotten in the first place. So, but I mean, it comes out to just research, and you know, where do you want to start?
Michael, have you actually done a listing of all the channels you can get over the air? I mean, have you actually compared channels versus what you're paying for now?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that for me right now, what I get that I care about are like
BET
and Food Network and stuff like that I wouldn't be able to get over the air, right? Those are cable exclusive. I honestly would probably follow Brian Brushwood's challenge if it wasn't for the fact that I have kids and I know that I'm gonna like resubscribe to everything immediately because my kids use everything every day. But I probably would be just fine not having PlayStation Vue and not having really just anything but Netflix right now, because there's so much content for me on Netflix that I could spend 6 to 12 months without watching anything that isn't on Netflix and be completely happy.
See, for me, since I already have the Plex DVR set up and I already have the receiver set up, if I wasn't getting my video over cable and I didn't have an option, I would still set up the antenna, even if it's just a couple channels that I would want to make sure I got, and use that to record stuff, because it's cost. I mean, the cost is so much less expensive than having to get it any other way. So, to me, it kind of would make sense for you to at least look into that as an option for getting over the air and somehow getting it onto some kind of DVR device, just in case you have something you want to watch that you can't get another way, because it sounds like you're okay with cutting everything else. So I don't know, that way you can get your local channels and get your MeTVs and the other stuff that, you know, you never know when you want to just turn something on and have something available to you. And the Romeo, you know, I know Clyde likes his TiVos, and a lot of other people love their TiVos, and that's a really great solution for that. So it
is, and now they have the Romeo OTA that is antenna only. It's a few $100. It's not cheap. Yeah, no, it is not a cheap solution. But I mean, it's an investment. But you know, my TiVo I just got rid of, I use that thing nonstop for like almost like 7 years, you know, and I chose to sell it at the right time because like a week after I sold it, they announced that they were ending support for that model. And I was like, yes, I rolled the dice. And I think I got it super cheap directly from TiVo as a deal through work. So I paid about $100 for it, and then I got a super cheap. It was when a Premiere first came out, and I got a super cheap forever price, which then I eventually did the lifetime. And I sold the thing for like almost $200
Wow.
with the lifetime service. And, so they're not going to get new updates, but they'll continue to get, the support or the channel guide in perpetuity. So, I mean, somebody's liking it.
If I were inclined, I would also look into Myth TV because I'm a nerd like that and want to do those kind of things. But build your own.
I've done Myth TV, and the problem I always had with Myth TV and really any of the other solutions that are out there that replaced or kind of went to fill in the gap for Media Center is that I always had trouble with the TV listings. The Myth TV, like, it wouldn't consistently download the TV listings and stuff. So once your guide got out of sync, then your DVR just was worthless. And that happened to me all the time with Myth TV and with this. I tried a couple of things on like what do you call it? Like a Kodi, or I had a box that had like Kodi on it and stuff.
Which used to be XBMC. Yeah.
Right. That's what I was trying to remember. So, there's a few different solutions that I've tried, and I just always had trouble keeping the TV guide updated so that the DVR would consistently record what I wanted. Media Center while it wasn't perfect, it worked. It just was easy and simple and plugged in, because it was on a Windows box, I just plugged in the TV tuners and hooked up a coax cable to it, and it worked flawlessly every time. And I never missed a show. I wouldn't say never, but I don't remember ever missing a show or having the DVR cause issues. It worked perfectly. So
yeah, and
that day went away.
That was the thing that's great about TiVo. In the fact that, there were always, even back before I got my first TiVo in 2004, people were telling me use Myth TV. We're running Myth TV on hacked, modded Xboxes, right? And, this is before XBMC. So Myth TV's been around since, like, the late 90s. But there was always something they had to do to update or tweak whereas the TiVo, from 2004 until last year, I never did a thing other than turn it on and watch stuff.
Right.
And it would just download. It would do everything on its own. I never had to think about anything other than, I think that show is no longer, like, I think they canceled it. I should probably remove it so the TiVo's not, like, constantly watching for it. But that was about all the maintenance I ever had to do, was every once in a while go in and clean up your wish list. But that's what you pay for. It's like anything where when you pay for a service, you get better support. It's because you're technically paying for, the services. If there is no payment, then you are the support.
Yep.
Plex also makes a pretty good product too nowadays. I haven't tried them out, but if I ever have time, would be the big thing, right? And wanted to get into this and do some of that DVR recording. I think that would be the one I would go with.
Hey, would you like to try it? Because I have the possibility of, if you want to try it as a trial, I'm not saying for long, I can make it so you can access my Plex server remotely.
So you're offering everybody in the chat room, because you're talking out into the camera. So if you want to access Matt's Plex,
no. I definitely don't want to do that. I was offering Jimmy the chance to try Plex.
You can send me the link and I'll give it a shot.
All right, I'll see if you like it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, and
I think you need to go to Plex and set up an account and then send me your account info, like your whatever you used to.
Okay.
So go to
I can-
Plexus.com and make an account.
Yep.
I can do that. Probably won't be till the weekend, but I can do that.
All right. Should we wrap up the antenna talk? I will just say again, scroll up through the article, find that, or scroll up through the chat, find that article link. There's some good information in there, and then always your first stop should be antennaweb.org. They do some great work. Oh, and one thing to remember is that the listings on antennaweb.org, it may say you'll get 3 stations. That is conservative, and they are conservative on purpose, which means if you're expecting to get 3 stations, you may get like 10, but they don't want to guarantee that you're going to get 10. So you can usually count on more stations than it's telling you. So surprise, bonus. All right, let's see if this works. And I go. Nope, something happened. I don't know what happened. Oh, it's not in memory here. Hold on. We'll try this again. Nope.
It's Connor.
All right, I'm gonna have to reload that thing, but so. All right.
What was that noise I heard in the background? Was
That was
the
that was the audio from the video.
Ah.
Yeah, I'll have to remember to check that out after the show. But hey, who's got rants and raves? What are we on about this week? Nobody.
Well, I can go first.
All right.
So I signed up for DirecTV Now. I wanted to try something besides the Hulu. I mostly signed up just to because the Super Bowl is coming up this weekend.
Because you didn't do it when we actually tried DirecTV Now.
Well, I'll say the main reason why I did try it back then.
Oh, okay.
And I just so happened to call up my ISP this morning before work started getting busy for me, and so then AT&T is my ISP, right? And they said, "Oh, have you tried DirecTV Now?" I was like, I think I tried that over a year ago, but I can't remember what it was like now. And
You
so
liar.
then I couldn't remember the interface, right? I couldn't remember how good of an experience it was. And so I signed up for it, and I think they give you the first month for $10 or something like that.
I get
And
it
then
every month for $10.
That's because you're a mobile subscriber, right?
But that's the only reason I subscribed to it in the first place.
Right. So, but I get it for being a internet service subscriber. I get it for $10 the first month, and then after that it jumps up to $35. Right. So I said, okay, I'll just run these two parallel. The Hulu and the DirecTV Now, and just see which one I like. But I can already tell you, it's not much really on DirecTV Now, right? I mean, yeah, they got a DVR service, but their video on demand is very limited.
Wait, the DVR's out?
They do have a DVR. Yeah, you can
I'll have to
DVR.
check that out. I didn't see it I haven't seen it the last time I used it. Oh.
Yeah, and that could be one thing that might keep me around with it. Maybe, and maybe I'll downgrade my Hulu down to just a regular Hulu as opposed to the
I
TV.
can't believe they haven't made like a big announcement that the DVR is available, because that's the thing that everybody's complaining about.
I just signed.
Ring.
I just signed up today, and I saw DVR up underneath the settings. I saw DVR, but I haven't checked it out proper yet, so I can't say, right? But I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I'll try it out this weekend.
Yeah.
If it works, I'll shoot you guys a message and let you know.
Breaking the news. All right.
Breaking the news. Yeah, because I still prefer it. At home, it doesn't work too good, and I'm starting to think that that's because of Comcast is doing something wonky that causes the DirecTV. Because up at my parents' house I think they're on Charter, it works flawlessly. And
Mhm.
not all of the complaints that I had when I was, watching it here that, went away. And so I watched it over the weekend, and it was, like my brother-in-law didn't even understand that it wasn't cable. He just thought, oh, you
Yeah.
guys got a satellite? So he saw DirecTV, and
Yeah, and that's the thing. It feels like, I guess that's one thing I don't like about it. And I remembered it, as soon as I fired it up, right? I was like, oh yeah, this is the one that looks like television, right?
Mhm.
It looks like a 20th century experience, right? I've gotten used to the new Hulu, which feels a little bit more 21st century experience. And so that's the interface is not all that great, but I will say I did test out like the video quality and all that. All that is fine, spot on with the video quality, no doubt, right?
and this is one where the interface is what I actually like. I prefer it over like PlayStation View and Hulu, or I mean not Hulu. I haven't tried Hulu. And Sling.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is. It's a little better than that, but still though, I mean, it kind of looks like a cable box interface to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very cool.
So I'll report back how I like it. I'm probably going to watch the Super Bowl with this service, just to try it out and see how it is, and I'll report back and let you know if I actually stick with it or not.
Cool.
Rock on. All right, Mike, what was up?
Yeah, yesterday I went to a movie with my family. Don't get to do that very often because there's not a lot of good shows and movies that I feel are appropriate for my 5-year-old. But we went to see The Greatest Showman, which is it's a story based on the life of P.T. Barnum, who was the creator of the circus that became the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. And it's a musical starring Hugh Jackman. He also was like the director or something like that, producer or something. It was actually really good. We really liked the movie. The music, there were some great songs, and the kids, my daughter was really enjoying it. My 5-year-old, we left and she said, "That's my new favorite movie." Well, okay, my second favorite, Harry Potter, then that. So she really, really liked it. She's asked to listen to the music from it a number of times, and she immediately starts dancing. Very spectacular, lots of, as you would expect from a movie about spectacular shows like the circus. A lot of things happening, crazy looking people, the dog man and the bearded lady and stuff, and it was really good. The story was great, the music was good, and we really enjoyed it. It's interesting. It got pretty much panned across the board by critics, but it's got like a 90+% by users on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, that's typically the way it goes. If the critics hate it, then I know I'm probably going to enjoy it. That's how I judge movies.
There you go.
Yeah, no, rock on. Do you guys go to the like fancy theater for that, or?
Well, it ends it leaves all the theaters this week, like on Thursday is like the last day, and so we didn't have a lot of options to go. So we went to, well, all of the theaters near here are fancy theaters now, I guess. So had recliners and stuff, but it wasn't like Draft House.
Was it that Sky place?
Well, I usually try to go to Alamo Draft House, and there's a couple of other places. Alamo Draft House is my personal favorite theater. But we just couldn't get in there, and they have special rules for kids that like younger kids, like 5-year-olds, and so I'm not sure. Like we would have had to make sure we selected a showing that was approved for children and stuff like that, and so this one was just easier to go to. We went to Cinemark, and average theater, but they've got recliners. It was comfortable. It was nice. It's good.
Rock on. All right.
I have not much this week. I just wanted to say that I'm excited for the new upcoming movie that they just dropped the trailer for, which is Ant-Man and the Wasp. That looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Also, in the same Marvel group, a lot of the reviews are coming out for Black Panther, and apparently it's just nothing but praise for that. So I didn't know if I was going to go see that one. I don't know. I might not. I don't know. But more good movies coming from Marvel, and I'm all happy for it. Come on, you keep on coming out with them to just make my day. To have this stuff, these magical, long-term threads being pulled over these long years. I'm totally enjoying it. So
see, I'm actually kind of excited about that because Ant-Man. I enjoyed Ant-Man. It was probably one of my favorite Marvel movies. All the ones that I absolutely love are the ones that the people will go, it was stupid. And the ones that everybody's like, oh, this is the greatest movie ever, like Civil War. It's like, the thing was terrible.
You didn't like Civil War?
No, I think Ant-Man was one of the better ones that they've released. And I think most people that I talked to quite liked it and enjoyed it quite a bit. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to Black Panther as well.
Okay.
Looks super spectacular.
Sure does.
We'll see how good the actual story and acting and everything ends up being, but man, it looks amazing.
From what I've seen of it, it looks like there's so much going on. I'm actually curious. There's so many new characters. I'm worried about being able to keep up with it. Quite frankly, that's one of the reasons putting me off. Is like, wow, there are lots of characters in this movie, and I don't know any of their names.
And honestly, Mike, I thought you would be super excited about Deadpool.
I enjoyed the first Deadpool movie, and
I say because you and Deadpool, you guys know each other pretty well now.
Well, Deadpool knows everybody.
Buds, but you gotta stick with the real heroes. Deadpool's kind of a hero villain kind of guy, so
not too long ago, I actually watched the Wonder Woman movie and quite enjoyed that one.
I haven't got to see it yet. I really want to see it.
Wonder Woman was great. Unfortunately, unlike Marvel, where they've managed to create a string of good movies that have tie-ins and stuff, DC's failed on everything except Wonder Woman.
I can't think of a single DC movie I've ever liked, and this is going way back. No, sorry, I take that back because I love the original Batman movie with Adam West, but that was not really DC approved. So, and that wasn't by DC either. So that's probably why I loved it.
You didn't like any of the Burton series Batman
movies? Not really.
How campy they are their own kind of camp.
Yeah,
right?
Mr. Mom as Batman never really.
How about Michael Keaton? You didn't
That's
like
what I say. Mr.
Keaton?
Mom as Batman was like.
Okay.
And then
what about the Dark Knight trilogy? You didn't like any of those?
Not particularly.
Oh, interesting, because the first two are really good, but suck so bad.
Yeah, that whole growly voice thing just made me cringe, and
have you actually seen the new Wonder Woman movie, Clyde?
No, I haven't been interested. Yeah. Like I said, it's like CBS. I really don't care anymore.
and that's a fair perspective. I would say that I am kind of the same way. I didn't see a lot. I'm super into superhero movies. I try to go see them all in theaters, but I've basically given up on the DC ones, but I did go see Wonder Woman, and it was genuinely a very good movie.
Now, I will say I used to watch the Batman animated series in the 90s, the one they drew on black paper. That was cool, but that was a TV series. It's the movies that I'd never really got into.
Yeah. Okay. I will agree with Krug. in the chat room. Cruise in the chat room. The animated ones are good, and I have seen a few of those, and they've all been very good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I wanted to touch on one thing real quick. Hulu, you're pissing me off.
Oh man.
They're cleaning house, and was it about a year or so ago they canceled one of my favorite shows, Deadbeat, and then now they're canceling Shut Eye.
Oh.
And Jimmy's gonna be bummed because they're also canceling Chance. They're not giving him a third chance. They gave him two, another chance, but
wow.
And they also announced that this upcoming season will be the final season of Casual, which Casual is one of my favorite Hulu originals. If you haven't watched it, it's really funny. But
maybe they got a clean house. They won a Golden Globe, and now they got a clean house.
It's like, I don't know. And then there was a bunch of other stuff too that it's just like, why the stuff that I actually watch, that I actually subscribe to watch, nope, get rid of them. And just like with Amazon, and then they're like, oh well, we got all this new stuff that I don't care about. So yeah, luckily I don't subscribe to Hulu solely for the originals, although up until this point I've been very vocal about how much I like the Hulu originals, but
not every show gets to make it, unfortunately. You know that. There's
well,
gonna be shows
the problem is that Jimmy, did you watch this season of Shut Eye?
No, I haven't watched the second season
yet. It ended like abruptly. I thought it was just like a normal episode, and then I didn't see an episode for a few weeks, and I went back or I hadn't watched an episode, and I went, wait, that was the end of the season? There was no like resolution to the story arc or anything. It just it was like one of those, disappears before Christmas, it'll come back again in the spring kind of things.
Maybe that's when they made the decision to exit.
Maybe, and it makes absolutely no sense. And now, if that's the case, then this is probably one of the worst endings ever.
Yeah, I do like the actor. I forget his name. Is
Jeffrey Donovan?
Jeffrey Donovan. Yeah,
I like him. All the characters, and and season 2, I was digging a little bit more than the first season, especially since they changed that god awful intro theme song. They changed it to something that's actually kind of fitting for the show, and I thought it was a good change, but whatever, it's not to be. But on that note, on Hulu, everybody, whether you've been watching X-Files season 11 or not, even if you never saw it season 10, I don't care. You need to go on Hulu and watch last week's episode. It is one of the funniest, greatest, in my opinion, the best X-Files episode ever. It's standalone. It's one of the humorous ones, so it doesn't require you to really know much other than the fact that the X-Files is a show. And there is a lot of what could be considered pandering, very commonly talked about topics here in Diamond Club are explored deeply, and I thought I was going to throw up. I was laughing so hard at that point. It was great, and I did not see it coming. I had no idea. I turned it on, and it just kind of hit me upside the head when I was like, what the? Oh, crap, this is one of those episodes. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely watch it. It was very on topic, pop culture-wise. David Duchovny was great, and it probably won't hold up in 20 years because it is so focused on right now being hilarious. So, yes, definitely go out and check that out. All right. Anything else? Anything I'm forgetting before we shut this down?
Don't think so.
All right. Hey, just a quick reminder. We need to choose a title. So if you have not, the nomination process is still open. Get those titles submitted and then go over to tvs.showbot. Is it net?
It's
TV. tvs.showbot.tv.
TV. Yep.
Yeah, TV. And yeah,
TV.
or head over there, get your votes in. And then, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. It's always a blast. And then all of you out there in the chat realm, thanks for hanging out and making this worthwhile. It's a lot of fun to see your comments and get that feedback. Reminder, we are back here every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central on Twitch. If you're watching this after the fact, come catch us live sometime. This is when all the fun happens. And then, I guess, until next week, guys, see you later.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
More.
All right. We are clear, guys. Out there, let's go vote. Get your votes.
Go ahead and get your submission in if you want to put one in. Feel free.
Odd Squad. Like Superb Owl.
I like that, actually. I like that. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Quad.
Zev Odds Squad. Or Odds Quad. It's halftime and no one cares. I like that too.
Are obstetricians big cable cutters?
Well, they do cut a lot of cords. It doesn't say anything about cable. It just says big cord cutters. And I'm sure they cut some of the biggest cords out there.
Remember the Dunkin' Donuts commercial?
Time to make the donuts?
Yeah, it's time to cut the cords.
Oh, yeah. See, on my first ship, the damage control assistant, he was my department head. He looked exactly like the time to make the donuts guy. And, and everybody would rail about that when he wasn't around. Barry Muha was his name. Muha.
So, one of the things we didn't talk about this week, because I just didn't want to talk about it, quite frankly, wasn't big enough story, was the Amazon commercial. The Amazon Alexa commercial that's coming up for the Super Bowl.
New voices.
The fact that Amazon she lost her voice.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And so they implemented other voices, and all the voices. They only had like 4 in their little demo commercial. 2 of them were hilarious. 2 of them were okay.
I want like creepy child voice, like that would be reminiscent of like Children of the Corn kind of thing.
The weather outside is cloudy.
The
and
weather
63.
outside is cloudy.
That's the whole
No,
group saying it in
no,
unison.
yeah. No, rock on. Yeah, I read about it. I didn't care enough to go check it out. And
the Gordon Ramsay one was believable.
I have problems with that guy, and even more so lately. So I wouldn't be using his voice. But
so I think our winner tonight is Vev Odds Quad.
Okay.
I have to see.
Yeah, I think it's unanimous.
I think it's a pretty
Awesome.
awesome one.
Good job, Mr. Beam.
Mr.
Yeah.
M-Beam.
Mr. Beam.
I like his comment too there at the end. Vod you later.
Mr. Willie Scott, are you going to be doing some gaming later? I got hiccups.
Yes.
Okay. Well then, stick around after this. There will be some gaming. We will most likely be hosting it on this channel. If you don't know where to look, just look right here, and then you can click take me to the channel. Awesome. I think I might for a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stick around long term. I gotta be into work super early tomorrow, so.
I got things I got to do tonight, so I definitely won't be playing tonight. I hope you guys have fun though.
When you guys watch the Alexa commercial thing, does it say your city or?
That's what you're supposed to say, Echo.
Yeah, or does it just happen to be that it's in Austin?
I don't know what you...
So MB linked a commercial to me,
Oh.
to us, for the YouTube commercial for the Echo.
Okay.
No, it just happens to be Austin. It just happens to be Austin.
Austin, it's 60 degrees with it.
So when I first started that, I was like, wait, why is my Echo talking to me? Because it was like her voice and it was talking about Austin. I was like, I didn't ask for the weather. But
Oh, I was gonna bring up here. Let me bring that up. So, as I mentioned in the Allo, or in our side private conversation, last week when we talked about that Apple the HomePod. I knew I had seen that product before, and then I figured out when I was walking through Best Buy the other day, and I went, oh, there it is. Let me bring it up.
I think I'm actually going to put an order in for one of those.
For the Sony one? Or the HomePod?
The HomePod.
Oh, it's like, do you want the original or do you want the Apple one? Sony Smart Speaker. And then when I remembered it, I didn't realize that this has Google Assistant built in, so it's a Google Home. But yeah, it's like the same design, except the Sony one has the LCD on the front, which I actually kind of liked, where I just looked at it and there was video, or I mean, you had the like time or whatever it is. And then this one, you don't actually touch it like you do the Google Home.
Mm-hmm.
The Google Home, you actually have to touch it. This one, it like has like some sort of magnetic sensor, so you just get above it and you do whatever in the air,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird. Kind of cool, but weird. But yeah, that it is. Is that about the same price as the HomePod or cheaper? I don't remember how much.
No, it's less. The HomePod is like $349.
Yeah, because this also, and you can take it apart. You can take it apart to like clean it, which is cool. And then you can. Where's that other picture? I'm not finding the picture I wanted. There was a picture that showed the thing apart, but never mind.
And so you got to do the I Dream of Jeannie and wave your hand over it.
Oh, you can, and it's cool. Like if you're like nearby, if you want to change the track, you can just do that. Just by so like
Hand motions.
Yeah, I didn't get to actually try it, so but it
Well,
looked
guys,
nice.
We ran a little late, and I have stuff I have to get to.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yep.
I am going to run. Did you guys want to talk anything? before
Yeah,
I-
we'll shut this down. We'll talk real quick, and then
Okay.
I will. All right, guys out there in the chat. Thanks. We'll check you guys
Thanks for
later.
sticking
See you guys.
with us, guys. Appreciate it.
See you next time.